Hi there, my name is Craig Stevens, and this is the next podcast related to Mintzbergs organizational configurations. Now, to find this, I'm looking up and down. I'm looking at the camera and then down at the screen, which is right below the camera. And if you want to see the PowerPoint slides, just knock the camera off the desk. But if you want to see the PowerPoint slides, go to westbrookstevens.com/organizational.htm. That is where you'll find the slides. Now you'll go and find a link that will bring you down to the center of the page somewhere, and then you're looking for slide number M6. So slide M6 talks about a professional bureaucracy. We just got through talking about the mechanistic machine bureaucracy. So now we're talking about something that's more organic, more of a professional bureaucracy. So now, if you look at that picture, you see that Mintzbergs' 5 elements are there. There's a strategic apex, but there's no middle line, so that one's missing. And it's connected to operational core. There's a little techno structure, and there's a little support staff. Support staff's fairly large, not huge, and you would expect to find this in professional organizations. It's still a bureaucracy, but it's a little bit different than that big machine bureaucracy that we saw earlier. So professionals in this bureaucracy, professionals are isolated or insulated from formal interference in an infrastructural way, and it's more of a flat organizational structure, and these people on the operating core are free to develop their expertise. Now, I think the example in the book, first off, this is a Mintzberg model. So, but these guys in Reframe the Organization, Artsy, Choice, and Leadership by Lee Bowman and Terrence Dill use those models to explain Harvard. Probably Mintzberg's explanation. But here's the good. In Harvard, you can expect that the operating core is pretty much organic in nature, and they have ability to teach classes the way they want to teach it and do research the way they want to teach it. The problem is there's often bad coordination between groups, and sometimes quality control isn't where it should be because there are autonomous groups, and response sometimes is slow to change, in external change anyway. So here is another example. We'll go to the next figure, which would be M7, and this is a different type. This is Mintzberg's divisional form. So you find this in very large conglomerates, very large companies, and you find it other places too. But large companies, bulk of work done in quasi-autonomous units. I've been talking for some time now on different podcasts, so my tongue is getting worn out. So there's 4 of the 5 elements here. There's the strategic apex. There's still a small techno structure. There's still a small support staff, and then there's operating core made up of several divisions. And if you look closer at those divisions, you may find a number of different types of structures. But the ones that are pictured there are the machine bureaucracy. So although on the corporate level there's a small techno structure and small support staff, on the division level there could be a huge amount, and there could be different types of division. Matter of fact, if you're going to organize your organization to look like this model, and if it was me doing it, I would pick the best structure for each division and start there, so this divisional form within the divisions within the operating core may look different. So here's what it is. Here's the good part. Each division serves distinct markets, that's on the slide, offers economics of scale and ample resources, and a responsiveness within or without undue economic risk. So now you can design those divisions to focus on different markets and to focus on different results and focus on different people. One could be research, one could be serving a restaurant. It could be all kinds of different things. So you can create it to match whatever it is you're trying to do. Bad. creates tension between the corporate and divisions. Now these autonomous divisions often fight the corporate structure. Headquarters wants tighter control. Division managers wanted to evade control. Headquarters may lose touch with operations. Now that's another bad thing. And here's the way to look at it. The closer the division is to headquarters, the more managed that division will likely be. And probably the division that's in the worst part of the world, if you can think of the desert in the middle of Mexico, where nobody really wants to go there, there's nothing to see, nothing to do, maybe that's not managed very tightly. So there's all kinds of pros and cons related to that. Let's go to the next slide. Now the next one is real hard to see. Mintzbergs adhocracy. And you can see that it looks like the operating core is missing, but maybe it is, and that's figure M8. So maybe it's missing, but maybe not. Here's some adhocracy issues. First, found in loose, flexible, self-renewing organic forms, diverse, free-willing environments. That's a lot to say, but can you imagine that adhocracy is very organic, and adhocracy is as it sounds. You manage ad hoc. Sometimes this is called an organizational tent. And there's one of the problems. Ambiguous authority. Could be good, could be bad. Unclear objectives. Doesn't sound too good, right? Contradictory assignments of responsibility. That doesn't sound too good. Challenge traditions. That could be good, could be bad. Foster exploration, self-evaluation, and learning. Now that could be good. And I talked about adhocracy as being the 5-person special forces team. They all have to overlap and know each other's job, and each one have to be available to lead at any point in time in order to survive. Okay, found in conditions of turbulent and rapid change. Well, that starts to make sense, doesn't it? Because if you have a turbulent change, like the special forces going into battle, the moment they get into behind enemy lines, they're constantly they're trying to they're in a turbulent, rapidly changing environment. A strategy changes the moment the first shot is fired. Now, to have a good strategy, you have to have a little secrecy, and as soon as you let people know what you're doing, then you no longer have a strategy, or no longer have a strategy that will be 100%, no 100% anyway. There you have a weaker strategy. Found in conditions of turbulence. Okay, sometimes there may be think tanks. I put in the recording industry. There's a lot of this in the recording industry. It may become a liability if you have highly regulated organizations. And the bigger the size, the more of liability. Can you imagine a 100-man special forces team starts to lose all meaning, because now you have more problems, people running into each other and having more problems. Can you imagine a highly regulated environment, say healthcare, where there's environmental issues to consider, whether there's reporting issues to consider, and informational security issues, and then there's safety, and there's so much to think about. Can you imagine that as you have more regulations, the mechanistic and bureaucratic side starts to take in and starts to be built and put in play? Okay, let's see. That is all I have related to the Mintzbergs organizational configuration. My name is Craig Stevens, and you can contact me at CraigAStevens@westbrookstevens.com, and I would be happy to talk to you.